So I'm going to talk a little bit about our sustainability work in general. We call it Conscious, H&M Conscious, which stands for everything we do for a more sustainable fashion future. And our vision and our ambition, of course, is to be in the forefront of this in our business. Our vision when it comes to sustainability is that all our operations should be run in a way that is economically, socially, and environmentally sustainable. And the reason for this, for us being so passionate about sustainability, is because everything we do has a long-term perspective. Our current CEO, Carl-Johan, is the grandson of our founder, Erling Persson, who founded the company in 1947. So H&M has a history, and it has a future. And that's very much what we're focusing on with our sustainability work, of course. To make it a little bit clearer, both internally and externally, we have our 7 commitments that we all work with at the top of our minds through all our work processes and all our operations. And I'm going to go into those more in detail. And what's also important to know is that very much of the sustainability initiatives are taken from the inside of the company. We're all very passionate about it, and we're very proud to work at the company that puts so much focus and so much investment and resources into sustainability. So for us, it's really an added value. The first commitment is to provide fashion for conscious consumers, or customers, as it says here. This means that there should always be a more sustainable offer at H&M. And you could say that all our products actually have an added sustainability value. Currently, 11% of the materials we use for our collections are made of organic, recycled, or one of the climate-smart cellulose fabrics. And almost 16% of the cotton we use, because cotton is the material that maybe has the most impact on the environment, comes from sustainable sources today. Our goal is that by 2020, all our cotton should come from more sustainable sources, and that would be then organic, recycled, and better cotton, which comes from the BCI initiative that I unfortunately don't have time to go into right now. Some of the newest materials we have ongoing are organic leather, which is vegetable tanned leather produced for organic meat production. And the organic leather we have right now is from Sweden. We have produced conscious collections with more sustainable materials ever since the 90s. But we've had a great focus on them over the last 10 years, you could say. This is since 2012. I think we produced the first collection with only sustainable fabrics in 2007. And 2012 we introduced our Conscious Exclusive collection, and this is really among the highest fashion we have in the company. We decided to make that sustainable, really to prove that you really don't need to compromise fashion for sustainability. Most of the materials we used, we have to develop together with our suppliers, which of course takes a lot of resources and investment, but we have still chosen not to charge the consumer more for the more expensive materials, but to make it a democratic process, because sustainable fashion should be for everyone. So this is the first year's result. This is the second year, and we've seen these garments of lots of celebrities, and they're used a lot in the Vogues and the Marie Claires around the world. Here is recycled polyester tulle to the left for the first time, for instance. Organic cotton and recycled polyester lace. I think this was one of the most popular wedding dresses that year. And this is the collection we released in April. Also recycled polyester. And what's interesting is that those shoulder patches on the jacket, on the Matador jacket, are made by home workers, women in India who for various reasons can't work away from home. We have organizations that provide work for these women so they can work a lot with handicraft at home. We pay them as a skilled worker who would work in a factory, and we audit the homes, and we give us these beautiful details and accessories to our products. some of the garments. And this is another initiative. We also do this one-off collections regularly. This is the Bricklaying Bags collection. It's produced in collaboration with Bricklaying Bags, which is a custom-made bike store in London. It's very hip, and so the bike nerds, you could say, or the bike gurus rather, at Bricklaying Bike Store helped us develop this collection together with the design team. And it's got special features like more fabric in the armpits and in the crotch, and it's got slanted pockets, it's got a windproof lining and all kinds of function that you really can't see on the surface, but that work really well when you're on the bike, and you look equally good when you're off the bike. And all made from sustainable materials, of course. These are all the fabrics we've developed so far, and we only started in 2007 developing new fabrics, and then we only had organic cotton. So this is something that we're very proud of. And you can see them on the green hang tag in our stores. They're in their stores at all times, and we also have a lot of basic products made from these materials. Another important issue is, of course, the user phase. How can you consume fashion more sustainably? We see here, this is a life cycle of an average garment's climate impact from the fiber production through to the user phase and end of life of the product. We see that a lot of the impact is, of course, from the fiber production, which is what we are changing and doing a better thing with through our work with more sustainable fibers. But at the end of the life cycle, the user phase, that is something that we really have focused on addressing the last couple of years with the introduction of our Clever Care symbol, which is a symbol that is on all our wash care labels. And it's about basically how you can lower your impact just by caring for your clothes in a more sustainable manner. It's very easy, everyone can do it, and if we all do it, and if we all do it in our 55 countries that we operate in, of course it will make a huge difference in saving energy and water. It's about not washing too often. We all wash too often. We don't need to wash our jeans after each use, for instance, like a lot of people do. With the modern washing machines and with the good detergents we have today, we don't need to wash in 60 degrees anymore. We can lower the temperature and save half the energy. We don't need to tumble dry our clothes. They hang dry much better, and also we save the clothes. We can cut down on the ironing just by for instance, hanging your clothes outside or taking them with you into the bathroom when you shower, so the steam take the creases out. And of course, we can hand wash silks and knitwear instead of dry cleaning them. Companies are a little bit worried when it comes to people ruining their clothes through washing carelessly. But if you wash carefully, of course, you can hand wash most things, maybe not tailoring and outerwear and so forth, but a lot of things you actually can. So doing this, you save half the energy, half the impact of the climate impact of your user phase, which is a great thing. We have also engaged with a lot of other companies with this wash care symbol that we implemented in collaboration with the global wash care symbol owners. They're called Ginatex. And for instance, next week, I think, Stella McCartney will go out with a campaign about this symbol that they have implemented in all their clothes, and also the whole of the Caring group, which means like Gucci and all the other brands. So that's also very rewarding, and as I said, it will make a huge difference. Commitment number 2 is choose and reward responsible partners. I will show a video about our fair living wage strategy, which is coming up to its first year of implementation. And let's hope that this is going to work now. Yes?
H&M is a global company with 900 suppliers from all over the world. We don't own any of our suppliers, but we have an important part in ensuring that our suppliers can pay their workers a fair living wage, sufficient to cover their families' basic needs. We at H&M have been engaged in this issue for many years. Together with leading global experts, trade unions and non-governmental organizations, we have created a roadmap to achieve a fair living wage for the entire textile industry. First step on this path is to improve our own purchasing practices and try to minimize production peaks and overtime. This can reduce unnecessary pressure on workers and improve productivity. H&M also works with suppliers to enable the transition towards a fair living wage. That's why we set up role model factories, encouraging better dialogue, training and fair wage negotiations between workers and management. The findings from these projects will be scaled up. All suppliers will continuously report directly to H&M on their progress. The workers' opinion of the fairness of their wage will always be central. Third, H&M supports the creation of democratically elected worker representative bodies and collective bargaining agreements. Most importantly, we ensure that workers learn about their rights and how to organize and maintain them through fair negotiations. We also engage with governments in dialogue with worker representatives and employers to identify and implement a fair living wage nationally. The minimum wage level is to be reviewed annually. All strategic suppliers should have pay structures in place to pay fair living wages to 850,000 workers by 2018. We hope that this initiative will inspire other brands to join our effort and together drive real change across the entire textile industry. H&M knows change is difficult, but we're fully dedicated to bringing a fair living wage to all. It's just the right thing to do.
And just after 1 year at the role model factories, we already see results like overtime is cut down in half, for instance. And we also see that both the workers and of course and the factory owners are happy about this change, and also it's very empowering for women, of course, since 80% of the workers in our factories, or not our factory, but the supplies we use are women. We will go on to the commitment number 3, which is be ethical. We have lots of examples of that I'm a little bit short of time to run through. And of course, commitment number 4 is to be climate smart. This we do through saving energy, saving water. We have an initiative, our garment collecting initiative, which by now, the figure is actually wrong. We've collected 9,500 tons since we started this initiative a year ago. And you're actually doing very well here in Israel, collecting. So it's about closing the loop. So basically you go into the store, you hand in your used unwanted clothes of any brand, in any condition, and put them in a box, and in return you get a discount voucher. We then send it off to our partner, iCollect, to one of the sorting plants and sort it into second-hand, vintage, new products like cloths, insulation for houses and cars, and also, which is a great thing, we recycle them into new fibers, new fabrics, and make new clothes out of them. So it's really closing the loop, making new clothes out of the old ones. This is an example of the first small collection we launched in February, using fibers and fabrics from the Garment Collecting Initiative.
Blue.
And this is from this year's Conscious Denim.
It surrounds us. It's what we breathe. We live because of it. In it. Off it. It shields us, empowers us, expresses us. So let's respect it, and let's not waste it.
So that's our Conscious Denim campaign, which is produced with less water, less energy, and less processes. Commitment number 6 is to use natural resources responsibly, which of course is very much about the fiber production we have just talked about, but also about our water strategy in collaboration with WWF. And then the last one is strengthen communities. And we're not going to go into details about that now, but it's very much about that better cotton that I talked about recently, and of course also about the fair living wage strategy. Thank you very much.